G'day guys, and welcome back to another deck profile. Today we're going to be checking out another kind of off-meta leader, which is Ivankov. When I say off-meta, it has actually topped in a few bigger tournaments. The most recent one would be the OCE offline in-person regionals. Actually managed to get top 16, I believe, which is actually really cool to see. But today I'm going to be showing you the profile that I've been mucking around with for the last couple of weeks. Actually a really fun deck to play. But let's have a closer look at Ivankov, the leader itself. So standard mono kind of leader. So it's a blue, 5,000 power, 5 life. The effect is end of your turn. If you have 0 cards in your hand, you get to draw 2 cards. And so basically what that means is we can be quite free with the resources that we use in our hands to protect our life, protect our characters. So using those counters, those events quite freely. And there's a few trashing effects in the deck as well, which we don't have much of a problem using because we can quite easily then trigger Ivankov's effect. Now, Ivankov's not the only effect that allows us to draw or gets extra bonuses, extra goodies from having a low hand count. So this is not the only reason why we are okay having a low hand count for this deck. So basically how this deck runs, it has a fairly big impel down kind of package or base, which will go over first, and then some bonuses which help the deck with consistency and some defense. So we'll first have a look at what the whole deck kind of revolves around, which is the super rare Ivankov. So this is a 7 cost, 7,000 power, no counter character, and on play you can draw cards until you have 3 cards into your hand. Then you can play up to 1 blue impel down type character with a cost of 6 or less. And we have a whopping 24 of them in the deck. And now there are some that you will more likely want to go into and others that you don't really want to go into a whole lot of. But we'll go over the ones that we want to go into more often first up. So the first of that is actually the other super rare that we are running in the deck, which is the Monkey D. Luffy from set 2. So 6 cost, 7,000 power, no counter. Can be played out with Ivankov. So the effect is on play and when attacking. So you can get this effect off multiple times, which is really good. You may trash 2 cards from your hand, then return 1 character with a cost of 4 or less to the owner's hand. Then this character gains double attack. So 2 really good effects going on there. The classic blue stuff where you get to bounce things from the field back to the hand or deck, in this case back to the hand, and a cost of 4 or less. You're hitting pretty much most blockers except for the bigger ones. You're hitting most of those removal cards like your Robins and that. The only thing you have to kind of watch out is with the Garp from the black deck, but yeah, black's in its own league when it comes to removal. But the other really cool part of this is the double attack. So it's a 7k body that can swing essentially 2 checks at your opponent's life. And 7k, that's beefy. You slap a couple of Don underneath that as well. You're removing a blocker when you attack. So removing a threat and possibly causing your opponent to take 2 damage, which is, yeah, can be quite hard for your opponent to deal with. And generally, you're a bit kind of more defensive slow until you can kind of get this play off with playing the Ivankov, playing the Luffy out. And then you can kind of ramp up in how aggressive you can be. The next offensive target that we are running off the Ivankov is the Crocodile from OP02. So that is a 5 cost, 7,000 body, 1,000 counter, just a vanilla, but just that 7,000 body again, which all 3 of these ones that we've seen so far are. It's just hard for your opponent to deal with sometimes, and you can quite easily play this on curve. So before you can play your Ivankov, you are able to play your Crocodile. So you can end up having 3 big bodies on the board quite quickly. Sticking with the targets that we can get off Ivankov and kind of transitioning into the defensive side of things, we are running 4 Mr. 3 from OP2. So there's a 4 cost, 5,000 body, 1,000 counter, is a blocker, but the effect is end of your turn, you may trash 1 card from your hand. So as I said, more of those effects where we get to trash. And when we do that, we can set this character as active. So this acts as both an offensive and a defensive card, which is great. Pop a couple of Don under there, you're swinging, trash a card from your hand at the end of turn, and you still have that blocker available to you. The other blocker that we're playing that is playable off Ivankov is Inazuma. So 4 cost, 5,000 body, just like the Mr. 3 that we just saw. 1,000 counter as well. the effects read, so if you have one or less card in your hand, this character gains 2000 power. So when we have that low life, which I said we like to kind of play around that, that low hand count, not low life, we're getting a 7000 blocker on board, which is actually really cool. And yeah, it's quite easy for you to get down to that low hand size. And that kind of does it with the cards that you really want to kind of play off Ivankov. The next couple of input down cards that we can play off, you don't generally want to play off with Ivankov. The first of which is the Buggy. So Buggy is essentially the searcher for the deck. So it's something you can still play off the Ivankov if you don't really have any other options. But Buggy, so is a 1 cost 2000 power, 1000 counter. On play, look at the top 5. Reveal 1 blue input down type card. Other than Buggy added to your hand, the rest go to the bottom of the deck in any order. So you're searching any of these cards that we've just seen, plus the next ones that we'll see, plus all the events and stage cards that we have run in the deck as well. So you're searching quite a lot. And generally you will kind of see Buggy in your opening hand, something you want to kind of mulligan for. So you have access to more of those options that you need for whatever matchup you're coming into. The last target that you can play for Ivankov, which you'll never really do, which is Mr. 2 from OP02. So 5 cost 5000 body, 2000 power, 2000 counter, which is the main reason why it is in the deck, because it is a searchable 2k counter. Effect is Don times 1. When attacking, you may trash 1 card from your hand, then place 1 character with the cost of 2 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. Then at the end of the battle, place this card at the bottom of the owner's deck. So, cool effect, but does have a big drawback, which is why you don't really use it. Very, very situational. Maybe if you're going against something that likes to go wide, you just need to get rid of a blocker, small little blocker. That's the only time you kind of really need to use this card, or if you just need another body on board, you can. But otherwise, it's kept in hand because it is a 2k counter, and as I said before, you can search it off the Buggy. So the rest of the cards in the deck are not searchable off Buggy. They're outside of the impulse down package. But we'll start with the defensive ones that we have. We are running 3 of the starter deck Law Blocker, simply because it's just a cheap blocker. 1 cost 1000 power. You can kind of use this with maybe some other blockers, maybe like the Doflamingo or the Boa Hancock from the first set. Both great options. The Doflamingo allows you to kind of organize your hand, the cards on top of your deck, so you kind of know what you're playing into. The Boa Hancock has that draw ability, which can be nice as well. But I'm just running the Law because it's nice and cheap. You can pop a few of them out on the board in the same turn. For the other 2k counters that we have in the deck, we are running 4 of the Mihawk. So 4 cost 5000 body, 2k counter. Don times 1, when attacking, draw 2 cards, trash 2 cards. So a great way to kind of replenish your hand if you need to play one of your 2k counters out. The next 2k counter that we are running Alvida. So 2 cost 3000 power. Don times 1, when attacking, you may trash 1 card from your hand, return one of your opponent's characters with the cost of 3 or less to the owner's hand. So this can be used depending on what matchup you have, but if not, it sticks in your hand as a 2k counter. The last of the 2k counters that we are running Mr. 2 from OP1. So 3 cost 4000 power. The effect is completely irrelevant because it only works with Baroque work events, so we don't have to worry about that. It's just in there because it is a 2k counter. So these, so we've got 4, 8, 12, and then we have another 4, 16 2k counters in deck, which is quite nice to have access to. For some removal and just some big body presence, we are running 3 of the Mihawk from OP1. So 9 cost 9000 power, no counter. On play, place 1 character with the cost of 7 or less at the bottom of the owner's deck. So just handy to remove some big pesky things. Actually really good into the mirror match, the Mihawk. Really good into your big blockers that green can have access to, the Law has access to. And can't take care of anything that red's going to throw out at you except for the Newgate SR. Rounding up the cards in the deck, for our events, we are running 2 of Gum Gum Rain. So a 0 cost event. First one that we've ever seen like this. It is a counter, so you may trash 1 card from your hand, then up to one of your leader or characters gain 3000 power for the battle. So plays in well with that, having that low hand size style of the deck. But yeah, 0 cost, 3000 power boost, which is absolutely insane. Something extra for your opponent to think about, especially if they're not familiar with blue. You can catch a lot of people off guard with this. The trigger is we can turn up to 1 character with a cost of 2 or less to the owner's hand. So you can sometimes just use that as well if you have a pesky blocker you want to get rid of, which will allow you to take out the game next turn. Otherwise, you're generally going to hold it and use it for that defensive side of things. And the last 2 cards that we're running in the deck, we are running 2 of the stage card for Ivankov, which is new land. So as 1 cost stage, activate main, you may rest the stage. If your leader is Ivankov, you can draw 1 card and trash 1 card from your hand. So a great way to replenish your hand or find the pieces that you need. But then the next part of the effect is then you can trash up to 3 cards from your hand. So that can kind of help you get down to that low hand threshold if you need, depending on the situation. Help you trigger those other effects that we saw before, which can be quite handy. But just be aware that the Luffy is a key part of the deck, part of the aggression that you sometimes need. So using that second part of the effect isn't optional. You don't have to do it, but just make sure that you're using it at the right time and you're not shooting yourself in the foot and not being able to use that Luffy later on when you do need to. Alright, and there is the deck in all of its glory there for those that just want to skip right to the end and just see the list. But thank you so much for checking out the video. We do have a gameplay up on the channel, which you can go check that out. We'll leave it up in the card at the end here. But if you do want to see some more gameplay of it, let us know. We'll try and get some more uploaded as well. If you want to see some more decks profiled on the channel, let us know in the comment section below. But thank you again for checking out the video. Stay beautiful, and we'll see you all in the next one.